the diversity of ideas and
right.
thoughts, and,
social
and
organization,
how we live.
Right.
There needs to be diversity
and diversity of thought that's not boiled down to I should be allowed to be fascist if I want to. Like I should be allowed to want to murder you.
Yeah,
it's just a difference of an opinion.
Yeah, no,
we should be able to share a stage together where it's just a difference in opinion.
So you're gonna get mad if I say nigger up here?
You're gonna get mad if
Are you gonna get mad?
Why do I feel like that literally happened to you?
I've had literally my first year of comedy was
that's some comedy scene shit that I
I
know tap out.
Yeah. No, that's why I'm like when people say I'm a comedian, I'm like I'm not in there. I'm sorry. Whatever that is,
you have no idea how bad it is. It is like literally.
Talk about it.
You can't imagine.
What?
Dog,
Nigga,
we're
go
here
on
in
the
New York
internet.
City. Let's fucking.
These niggas are awful. It's all they're fucking doing. Tim Allen jokes. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I want y'all to really flesh this one out. I don't. Give a
you mean
fuck.
the fucking fascist, the radicalization of comedy? These niggas they've trafficked in right-wing talking points. They've basically made comedy. They get on everybody for being like, this is just ideological comedy. You're just trying to say your point. And then a nigga go up there and be like, aren't Chinese people weird? And then everybody's like, thank you.
Dude,
yeah.
And it's John Mulaney's like the Charles Lindbergh of comedy right now.
But it sounds, and to them it sounds like we're pushing some type of ideology because they're just reinforcing one that already exists. It's like
I'm like Charles Lindbergh. Is that the Lindbergh baby? I'm going through everything.
He wasn't like, but he was, but he was fucking hanging out. That type of shit.
He's just an enabler, man.
Yeah. No.
Real quick though, just a quick side note. I don't mean to backtrack, but this word showbiz, it's gone now. It's like super old tweet, but I tweeted Jerry Seinfeld when I was like a freshman in college. This is like back in 2013 when Comedians in Cars first came out. Yeah. And even when I was like 18 years old, I was like, hey, I tweeted this and I added him. I go, hey, Jerry Seinfeld's worth $1 billion. Why is this show sponsored by Acura? and he goes, because it's not show fun. And it took me like years. Yeah, he replied.
Do you have a screenshot of that? I need that on a T-shirt.
He goes, because it's not show fun. And I was like,
not in supporting him.
Damn.
But like to point out how insane.
I don't even grammatically understand what you mean.
What's the deal with show being fun? It's not supposed to be fun. We're making money.
And I was like, oh, he means not show biz. It's show. It's not show fun. It's show biz. It took me forever.
Right.
But yeah, I remember being like, wow, Jerry Seinfeld replied to me. And now I'm like, wow, Jerry Seinfeld replied to me
with that?
With that.
He got right to the point.
He zinged it. And there were people like, tell him, Jerry. Like in replies. Yeah, anyways. But yeah, the fascists and
Palestine doesn't exist and I'm supporting the IDF.
I don't care what it is as long as it's funny.
Acura!
We're just in cars drinking coffee.
He has man hands.
Does he even go that high? I'm like, now I'm wondering, like, damn.
It's just this. Just what? It's just that.
Wow.
God damn.
You were saying something though. You were basically mapping out the right wing reactionary comedy landscape.
It's funny you bring up Seinfeld because I think it all started with Kramer saying "nigga" that one time, and
that did fracture the multiverse.
Yeah, it did go. It all was like Kramer said "nigga."
That's real.
Yeah,
Kramer said "nigga," and then fucking ever since then, comedy's been
I think my friend should be able to say "nigger." I think
Jerry,
I
but he's
personally
so
don't
funny. Yeah, that was really the first
I personally don't find the humor in it, and I'm not looking for it. But I think my friend, I support my friend's right to use the word nigger.
He didn't just say "there's a nigger." He said, "Look, there's a nigger.
He's a nigger.
He's a nigger.
He's a nigger."
Did you say "look"?
If we say this enough times, it's getting ripped off everything.
It's getting coming off YouTube.
Oh damn! You can't
because we don't control the platforms. Remember?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
right.
can't even say that. You can't.
And then boom, promo.
I said that. I was gonna say that.
Editors, cue the Digital Design promo right now, please.
Right.
Yeah.
Speaking of Seinfeld, I feel like it is kind of an outgrowth of his mentality in a lot of ways because he has always promoted this idea of like, he really has said like, I don't care what it is. It's as long as it's funny, you know. It's just I think you just said priority is just stupid. To be, and it's like, and look, you can respect Seinfeld as much as you. I personally think John Mulaney has written more jokes in Seinfeld style than Seinfeld ever has. He's still doing jokes from 30 years ago and putting out specials where the premise is that I'm retiring these jokes. I'm doing it for the last time. But I think like people take those
men. So funny.
Yeah,
like,
right.
There's gems he's got to hang in the rafters.
Exactly.
And it's literally
right. He's got to retire.
Like, the airport's slow. Like
Pop-Tarts. Pop-Tarts.
Oh, you know they're making a whole movie based on that with Amy Schumer and shit. Oh, I swear to God, I'll pull it up.
Oh my God, bro. Do you remember being like a young comic and people showing you that clip of him talking about like?
It. I remember I bought the DVD.
Yeah, when he's like, he's got the little yellow legal. Yeah, like, I've been working on this one for 2 years. 2 years, just moving this word around, this word over here, and
what could you possibly say?
People like, what is that? What else is there?
It's so funny because his life, people have his entire comedy career, like every word he's written as a joke, can be summed up on somebody's Twitter feed.
Yeah,
and, like it's half their tweets.
Yeah,
it's like nigga, you made $1 billion off of what could be a bad Twitter account. Yeah. Literally,
I want to speak to that notion, that sentiment that Seinfeld expressed of like, oh well, as long as it's funny or whatever. That dovetails into this related thing of like, and I think you kind of spoke to it just a few minutes ago, but just this thing of whenever there's a critique against a comedian,
is it
for the messaging and what they're saying, the attempted smoke screen is like, it's just a joke.
Yeah.
It's just a joke, and I'm making people laugh. But it masks. Yeah. I just want to make this point. It masks the reality that you're saying something though.
Yeah.
And the people are responding in a certain way because of what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's this really bizarre. It's like it almost every time I see it, it feels like I'm in the Twilight Zone. It's like, okay, it was a joke, but you had a point, didn't you? You were making a point. So now people are responding to the point behind your joke. So let's not use that as to distract from that. What was the point you were making?
And also as long as it's funny thing is true, your shit's not funny.
And I'll say the only person I've seen, the only comedian I've seen actually frame it in this way explicitly is Jabuki. That's the only comedian I've really seen specifically get to this point that I'm making right now.
Oh, I say all the time. I let, like, literally my first year, this is like a whole Facebook status I had. I was like, I'm black before I'm a comedian. I just need to let y'all know.
Right.
Because if you say nigga on stage, the black part of me is going to react before the comedian. I'm not going to be like, oh, well, you know, I've never been one of those people who this whole fraternity situation.
Bro. Like, no, it's just like the party line.
Yeah,
it's exactly what I was just talking about with political parties.
Right.
It's like no, this is our thing, and we have to preserve this at all costs.
The sanctity of comedy.
Right. Who gives a fuck? And also to refer back to your point, like they have this attitude of like, I was just making a joke. And therefore the meaning has no value. But also, when somebody critiques them, the critique half the time is they're not funny.
Yeah.
And therefore, what they're saying has no meaning. So which of those things actually means anything?
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
If my shit doesn't mean anything because it's funny and your shit doesn't mean anything because it's not funny, then what the fuck are we talking about? Nothing has any value. Nothing means anything anymore.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And knowing the history of, and I don't want to, I don't want to derail, but like knowing the history of comedy in the Western world, knowing that it came out of, not that to say that niggas weren't making each other laugh before Athenian democracy, but like looking at how in Athenian democracy, it was an inherently political thing. And there were figures that these same type of like, oh, it's just a joke or, oh, whatever. Like there were right-wing comedians, you know, in Athenian democracy, but the general trend was there's this old established order and it's ass. These systems, these leaders, the way that they're doing shit here is ass.
That's the
and we're gonna
tradition.
clown them. And we're gonna
Yeah.
clown them. And the masses laughed at it because they said, no, these people suck.
Right.
So like in 2022, to see the discourse at this level is just like, what are we talking about?
That's what these comedians think they're doing. They think they are rebels. They genuinely do.
These types of people existed in Athenian democracy too, which is so funny. Like,
and bro, I keep saying like when you start comedy, people have this
crazy.
People have this reverence for comedians where they say like, well, the comedian is the only guy who can talk shit to the king's face, and he can't do anything. And in my mind, it's a lot. There's a lot of stuff you hear in the first years of comedy where you're like, oh yeah, that really means something. Right. And then 10 years in, I'm just like, how do you get that close to the king in the first place?
Yeah.
Why is the king so okay with having him around? Why does the king have no problem with him saying all that shit? Because he's not doing shit. He's not it has no value because he's saying it to the man who has. He's like he's like hand delivering these criticisms to the man he's critiquing so that he can co-opt those
free
things.
Speech warriors. It's always the funniest argument because it's like they're free. They're trying to say slurs. This is a long. It's a long-winded point, but we live in America. America's base ideology is for white male patriarchy. It's based off of white male capitalism. That's the literal. Collective consciousness that they're trying to protect this idea of white male supremacy. It trickles down into comedy where we are literally they're becoming less relevant. White men are becoming less and less relevant, and the style of jokes that they use. More people of color are coming into comedy, and they're like, "Yo, we're not fucking with this." Bullshit. It's not even funny. It's isn't. It's like 80s and 90s punchlines. That's the most egregious part about it. The jokes are corny. You're being corny and you're fucked up. Yeah. And so they're witnessing. They're just witnessing their circle in entertainment shrink and shrink and shrink, and it's still huge. It's still fucking huge. It's the quote that where like when you've been doing damn it. I'm not doing no goddamn quote, but
just paraphrase. Paraphrase.
Just paraphrase.
But basically, like whenever someone's taking something from you, when you've been like when you've been dominant so long, and someone starts taking something from you, it feels like oppression or something like that.
Right.
And so it's feeling like oppression, and this is them yelling. Can you believe that they're like, I'm not getting a pilot based off of this bullshit ass idea that I.
Tyler Fisher.
Oh my god. He's the most.
Tyler Fisher.
He's the most fucking extreme example. He's like, he would have never, even if it was all white people in entertainment, that nigga would have never made because there's a market for
cancel culture
and you just mentioned those buzzwords, the
fucking vampire guy, Tony something or other.
Oh, Tony Hinchcliffe.
Yeah.
Oh my
dog.
He's crazy.
He's a vampire.
Crazy.
Bro.
That's like Stooge for
fucking
the Nazis
freak,
type shit.
man.
Hans
like
Kim,
he's just like
bro.
He would.
He would literally be at the Nazi rally on the stage making everybody laugh.
Yeah.
His opener, Joe Rogan's new opener, and I'm going to talk shit. This is going to happen. But I wish this man, I'm happy for his success because I know that as a comic, coming out of, I know how poor this man was. I know how down and out he was. He's still an awful person, but
I'm not going to make a point. I just want to help. I feel like with what you're going to say, I feel like the framing of good faith and bad faith is helpful. Like, because because we don't know really, I don't know Joe Rogan. I don't know any of these niggas, right? All you can go off of is their actions and the shit that they're saying and the shit that they're doing and the shit that they're not doing. So it's like, I feel like that's helpful. I feel like what you're about to say is in good faith. Even if it's a critique, it's not this thing of like,
I don't want to hate on a nigga for no reason. I just know
some of these niggas are 100% too far gone. But there's no saving. Right.
And I don't even want to say he's beyond safe because he's very intelligent. That's what fucks me up about this. He's actually very intelligent and cognizant and is an aware person, very aware of this empire. That being said, when he first was doing comedy in New York, we were all broke, fucking doing little mics. He was an incel. There's no he was just an incel. He just was fucking you could feel his anxiety, just oozing off of him.
Right.
And I'm a jovial person, so I don't want to say I'm just like a normal. You are.
I'm a normie.
I'm like a aloof, like aloof, not like angry.
Happy-go-lucky.
That is yes. Happy-go-lucky.
Right.
I'm a whimsical person.
Perhaps.
I'm like a ditz. That's what it is. And I'm just like, like nothing's going on up here. And he comes up with his fucking anger, and he's just like, you've never thought about kicking somebody off the train platform in front of a train? And the person I was with were like, no, nigga, what? And he was like, you kidding me? And he punches the wall. This is real life shit. We're at a mic. This nigga comes up angry. I don't know what the fuck is going on. He says some crazy shit like, we all have primal urges to do these things. These are our primal urges. And I was like, I've never had the urge to, like, he was justifying.
Nigga, what year was this?
This was 2017, 18 era. This nigga says
he was on the roids, man.
That's called an invasive thought.
Yeah, this is why people run 10 miles a day, so he's tired.
Intrusive thought. People do have those.
This man's journey. Because that was him then. This man moves. He lives in a van. He travels. I think he lives in a van for a while. Then he eventually moves to Austin, where all the comics are moving to Austin. You see Joe Rogan move to Austin. There's Kill Tony's there, and Kill Tony's going up. Did y'all ever hear of the comic named Ping Dang?
I saw that clip. Yeah,
that sounds familiar.
I think we talked about
Tony.
Yeah, the Tony Hinchcliffe. The whole.
So wait, the person who punched the wall was Joe Rogan or someone else?
It was Hans. It was Hans Kim.
Oh, okay, gotcha. I'm sorry, I'm following you now.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that was Joe.
No.
I was confused as fuck.
I'm about to bridge the gap. So Hans Kim was the guy who comes and he says hey, you guys never wanted to kick somebody off of the train platform, and it's a primal urges thing. And we're like, no, nigga, what the fuck? Storms out. He moves, comes to Austin, where Kill Tony is. Ping Dang goes up and kills Tony and gets off, and then Tony Hinchcliffe does the Asian hate slur. He's like going crazy. That whole viral.
That was fucking insane.
So after that whole racist thing, Tony Hinchcliffe gets Hans Kim to be his opener and to be a face of see, I'm not racist. I got this Asian guy open up for me. And still doing fucked up ass bigoted jokes. Yeah. For lack of a better term. They're bigoted jokes. But he's using Hans Kim to be the face of I'm not racist. And selling out. Hans Kim literally sells out. Now he's on the road opening for Joe Rogan. He flies on private jets. Hans is good. Hans is living good. But it's just catering to comics are catering to.
That's the point. Yeah.
That whole right wing.
Well, there's a market for it.
That's the point.
It goes back to the whole I feel like this whole everything ties in. The algorithm that's making everybody right wing fascist is the same thing. It's happening in different fragments of society. Literally you could probably go to a dentist office and feel like, yo, that dentist, there's this is weird.
I mean, it's
that dentist definitely listens to Jordan Peterson.
Right.
No, you mind if I put you up? No, wait, no. Can you turn the radio?
It's there's 12 rules for life, and I'll start with number 1.
Right. 9 out of 10 a dentist agree. We need more guns in school. No, but literally, so Hans Kim was I just heard y'all bring up Tony Hinchcliffe, and it's just fucking brain my god.
Yeah.
Right.
You want to talk about the right wingification of every comic. Hans was a leftist comic. He would go on stage talking about the American Empire, or what I would deem, I don't want to say what his ideology was, but he would go on stuff that I'd be like, yeah, nigga, you know what the fuck is up. You just weird as hell, nigga. You got some issues. You got some shit. You got some shit on you right now, boy. Right. But and then to see his full evolution of watching him go from this one side of the political spectrum to literally opening up for the guy who is the catalyst for a lot of people's pipe. He's the pipeline for their right wing thoughts. Joe Rogan.
Well, this is so funny about. I feel like specifically stand-up. I don't do stand-up, but I feel like, the whole sanctity of comedy thing, isn't the whole point that you're in service to the audience, you're in service to making them laugh, to a degree. I know there's a struggle between, being understood as an artist, as a stand-up, and then trying to make the audience laugh, and you're kind of trying to do both. But, if an audience isn't laughing at some shit anymore, that's just kind of, for lack of a better word, the kind of market, the audience telling you this shit is old, it's cycling out. And then now there's an alternative market of people that are trying to get that even worse than how it was before.
Yeah, and the issue with that is, there are people who are now, as a reaction to even left liberal or leftist comedy, I mean, they call it woke comedy, but it's literally anything that's just not racist. These are people that laugh at transphobic, homophobic jokes specifically because they think you should be allowed to do it.
It aligns.
It's not because it's funny.
It aligns with their thoughts. And
Right.
It's like, this is what I believe. Think the jokes, literally, jokes aren't funny. But it's because it's what they believe that they're there to support. They're not there to support the comic. They're there to support the ideology that they all believe in.
Have their views reinforced.
And it's white. I'm telling you, it's based upon white supremacy. I cannot.
And I think there's a guilt element to it too.